So today what we're doing is we are putting every player back on their original team, whichever team that they first signed with in the majors or that they were originally drafted by. I want to see how this plays out and how the MLB just kind of goes about it. So we're going to go through a couple seasons, see what happens, and I hope you do enjoy it. I'm also going to show you where to get the roster and what it's called. So let's get into it. If you enjoy it, hit that thumbs up down below. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're about 1,500 away from 45,000 subs. That'd be awesome to hit here before the end of the month. I know you guys can do it. If you're new here, consider hitting that button down below. And of course, in the comment section, let me know that one player that got away from your team that you still wish you had. For me, I think it's got to be, as a Cubs fan, maybe Eloy. I'm on the fence about Glaber because he's been kind of hit or miss, but I think Eloy and left would definitely be a good bat for the Cubs. So I definitely miss it. Wasn't the best trade either. We won't talk about that. Let's get into today's video. All right, so up here, you're gonna go to the paintbrush. That's definitely gotta be a paintbrush, right? We're gonna go to vaults, and they recently. No, we won't talk about what was on screen. We'll blur it. Just don't go to the logo vault if you're a young child. Just don't look at it. Roster vault. You're gonna go to the roster vault. What I was saying is they recently patched the vault, and it goes so much faster now. There's no more disconnecting. There's no more error screens or anything like that, and you can actually like go through the vault without it loading for 45 seconds. And this is the one that I'm using, drafted, and it's by Cubs fan 26. So you guys can see the description here is players on teams that they were drafted or signed with, no prospects without face scans. Kind of don't like that part, but it's okay. So what I did was I just downloaded it. Let's hop into it. I haven't really gone too deep into the roster, so I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but I saw the roster in the vault. I'm always searching through the vault. I know a couple other people have created rosters for me to use for videos. I've seen them. I just haven't recorded them yet. I want to see what they look like before I get into it. So I'm looking for them, guys. Don't you worry. I'm always looking for cool rosters to try out for videos. And I saw this one and I figured we'd do it for today. So now let's go test it out. All right, so we're just going to pick a random team. We'll go 3, 2, 1. Boom. We're going to be the Astros. Okay, sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn CPU trading off because for one season, I just want to see how the MLB plays out. I'm like interested to see with all these players back to the different teams, how this is going to play out. And we're going to do like a one season sim. And then what I'm going to do, maybe for another season is that, we start making some trades and just kind of play it out and just go crazy and see what happens. So we're gonna go low through the roster really quick. I'm just gonna go to MLB roster because I'm assuming all the top players are gonna be on the MLB roster in spring training. And I'm just gonna quickly go through some of the top players. I'm not gonna go through like the whole roster because we're gonna be here for too long. But as you can see, everybody's back to their original team. I'm pretty sure there may be a couple mistakes here or there, but for the most part, everyone's back. I've kind of looked through the roster a little bit before I actually like hopped into it. Just a little bit, not like too deep, but you can see everybody here. And if you guys need to pause at any time, just go ahead and pause because it's going to be easier than me going super slow through this because we do have to go through every team and just kind of get an idea of where certain players are. And I mean, it's crazy how some players change teams so often, even before they make it to the bigs. So you're gonna see some names that are pretty interesting for sure. So let's kind of see what we got here. Like obviously Sixto was with the Phillies. He was part of the JT Realmuto trade. You've got Giolito, Robbie Ray Luzardo was part of the Nationals at one point. DJ LeMahieu, Donaldson. You've got Glaber, Eloy. I mean, the Cubs definitely have had some players in the past that they just traded away. Yasmani Grandal. You've got Chapman. Justin Turner was part of the Reds. Didi Gregorius was part of the Reds, which is crazy to think about. Like obviously, they didn't make their name there, but it's pretty interesting to see some of these names here that were part of the team, right? So, and it's also crazy to think about how like you look at some of the trades or some of the players that they released and you go, how did you get rid of them? How did you not know that they were gonna be that good when you let them go or you traded them away? And I feel like being a scout or just like working in a farm system and an organization for an MLB team has got to be so tough, especially because like it's a little bit different from like the NBA and the NFL, right? Where if you're drafting someone in the NBA or the NFL, you're kind of projecting them to be in the starting lineup day one, right? I don't know how it really is in like the NHL, but if in the NBA and the NFL, usually if you're a first round pick, you're kind of expected to hop in day one, right? You go to training camp, everything's good to go. Preseason, you're looking good. You're expected to start game one of the season. And with the MLB, you get drafted and it could be 5-6 years before you get the call up, just because some of these guys are 18 and they have to go through the whole farm system. So, I mean, it's got to be so tough to just kind of be like, okay, so this guy, we really expect him to be good, and we're going to say it's going to be 3 years, but it could end up taking 6 years. It could be 18 to 24. They need time to develop and then they're ready. Or sometimes you get someone who's like a Juan Soto who's ready by the time they're like 21, 20 years old. So it's got to be so tough. It's got to be so tough to think that, oh man, we've got the next Mike Trout, and then he ends up being a bust. Or we've got the next Pedro Martinez, and then it doesn't work out. We've definitely seen some top picks end up just being complete busts, or something happens behind the scenes where they just don't make it to the bigs. And it's kind of the same thing with what we do now. Like, we have Wander Franco, who looks like he's going to be a fantastic player, and we've been hyping him up for years, and like it looks like he's ready to come up to the bigs pretty soon, and he looks like he's going to be the real deal. And then you got players like Jason Dominguez, who has barely played professional ball. Actually, I haven't even seen if he's started playing in the minors yet, but just because he's like just such a big guy and he looks like he can hit well and looks like he can play baseball at a pretty good level, we just think he's going to be the next godsend for baseball, which who knows? The guy hasn't played professionally really. We don't really know how he's going to handle, AAA, single A, double A, and the majors. Who knows? He could end up being a bust. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's going to be pretty crazy for players like that. Plus all the pressure, man, that's got to be tough. And then you look at players like Tatis, who was traded like when he was 17, and now it's like, how could you trade James Shields for Tatis? Why would you do that? Well, like I said, I think it's just got to be so tough to be part of like an MLB organization and like really have to think about, well, do we trade this prospect, or do we hold on to him, or is he really gonna pan out? Man, that's got to be so tough. And then obviously as a player, having to go through the whole farm system, it's got to be a grind. It's got to be a grind. So yeah, it was just something I was kind of thinking about as we went through that, rather than just constantly talking about a roster, but more so of just the player development in real life MLB. Like, man, that's got to be so tough as a scout, as someone that, like, as a manager, like, okay, this guy's doing really well here. We've set him up to do really well. Hopefully he pans out in the bigs, right? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Like I said, with baseball, it's kind of like, who knows what's going to happen, right? There are always those players that you just know they're going to be stars, and then sometimes you got that player who you think is going to be a star and doesn't pan out, or the ones that you just, okay, maybe he's going to be a role player and he ends up being just a key player in the team day in and day out. So it's crazy how it works out. So let's get into it and see how everything plays out. So no trades this first season. I even turned them off for the CPU, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. So let's get into it. Let's finish it off, and I'll see you guys at the end of the season once this decides who's going to be the best team in baseball. Okay, so the Astros made the postseason. I'm not really too worried about that though, but I'm interested to see who made it to the top. So the Mariners with their original team. I got to double check on the Mariners squad because what? The Indians? Okay, so the Braves, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Marlins, the Red Sox, and the Royals. So no Yankees. The Yankees are even at the bottom. What? Let's go take a look at the Yankees really quick, because what do we got here? So we've got Jose Devers, Solak, Judge. Wow, they woo, man, this team, yikes. Holy cow. Jeez, who did they have pitching that they were so bad? They have like nobody. Huh, okay. And then the Mariners obviously weren't too far from us, but you've got Noelvi, Chris Taylor, Ketel Marte, Kyle Lewis, G-Man Choi. Okay, Tyler O'Neill, Evan White. Did they just have like a really good pitching staff? Because like offensively, it doesn't look that great. Like I'm looking at it, it doesn't look that good. So who did they have pitching? They've got one of those those glitchy pitching staffs for sure. But to win that many games, holy cow. All right. And then who else was one of those that just kind of shocked me? Let's see. The Cardinals, the Braves. Okay, the Cardinals and the Braves, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And like the Cubs not making it doesn't surprise me because the Cubs just really never developed pitching that well, especially recently, except for this year. Some of their homegrown pitchers this year, they look so good. I'm so excited for the pitching so far. It's been great. You know, Justin Steele, you've got Adbert who's putting it together this year. Keegan Thompson, some of these young guys that they have in the bullpen, and man, they're looking good. They're looking solid. So, all right, there we go. As we look through some of it, you got Giancarlo with the Marlins. So that would mean Yelich is with the Marlins as well, isn't it? Yeah, and Ozuna. Yep. Okay, JT Realmuto. That's a pretty decent team. Miguel Cabrera, obviously an aging Miguel Cabrera, but like if we had prime Miguel Cabrera, we probably would have been kind of nasty. Another thing, Josh Naylor was part of the Marlins, and I want to get this story right, but we did a video last year where we took the lowest rated player in MLB the Show, which was Stone Garrett, and you guys kept bringing it up to me that he had a crazy hand injury that kind of derailed his career. And so I think it was Josh Naylor who played a prank on him, and that's why he got, it was Josh Naylor who played a prank on him, and that's how he got his hand cut open, and that's what kind of ruined his career. So I'm not trying to say Josh Naylor, it's your fault or anything like that, but that is unfortunate that's the case. So as we look at MVPs, we've got Trout and Alonso. You got Chris Sale with the White Sox. Any other interesting one? Garrett Cole with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I wonder who the Pirates have. I didn't really look at the roster too much. I'm kind of interested to see who the Pirates would have. So, Rookie of the Year, no one really. So let's go take a look at the Pirates really quick, because obviously they've had some names in the past that kind of just got away. So we got Marte, who they did trade away. McCutchen, that's the one. Austin Meadows, part of that trade. Josh Bell, Key Bryan, and then a couple others. But what about their pitching? Because the Pirates, man. Cole, Tyone, Glasnow, Chad Kuhl, Mitch Keller, Tony Watson. Was Mark Melancon originally with them? I know he was at one point. I don't know if he started his career there, though. He started his career with... Let's take a look. He started it with the draft. He was drafted by the Yankees. Okay, so he was part of the Yankees. Okay. I knew he was with the Pirates at one point, but I wasn't sure if he started with the Pirates or if he was drafted by them. So, okay, so there we go. This is the postseason now, and we'll just whatever. It's fine. Let's just get to the offseason, and let's see who wins the World Series. And it might be the Astros, to be honest. The Astros versus the Dodgers, and the Dodgers win. Let's go take a look at the Dodgers lineup real fast. See how this all plays out. And they've got Verdugo, Yordan. Oh, I forgot Yordan was part of the Dodgers. That's right. Corey Seager, Bellinger, Will Smith, Edwin Rios, Jack Peterson, Carlos Santana, and Gavin Lux. D. Strange Gordon. Okay. Anybody else? Willie Calhoun. All right. And then let's go take a look at the pitching rotation for the Dodgers as well. Gonsolin, Kershaw, Buehler, Maeda, and Urias. Dude, the Dodgers just know how to get talent, right? Like, how do they do it? But whoever's in charge of them, whoever's getting all these players, you know what? I hope that they're set up for life, because the way that they've made the Dodgers just a powerhouse year in and year out, unbelievable. The way that they turn these players around, even like picking up Max Muncy and turning him to who he is now. Whoever's out there, picking up these players, make sure they can retire like today, and they're taken care of for the rest of their life, because whoever's doing this is a magician. They've got some secret power that like none of us do. It's unbelievable. So the Dodgers ended up winning it, beating the Astros. Correa was playoff MVP. World Series MVP was Corey Seager, and there we go. So there's that. Let me see how long this video is. This might be too long already. It might be kind of fun just to kind of test this out and see how it played out, rather than like me actually going in and doing stupid trades. And now that I'm thinking about it, me going in and doing stupid trades doesn't really change much, right? So I'm gonna end it there. I know I said I was gonna do a second season, but it was a little interesting to see what this would play out to be, it really didn't change much. I mean, if anything, the Dodgers still won a World Series like they normally do. And that's just because they know how to completely, they just know how to pick players. That's really what it comes down to. But yeah, it's just interesting to see some of these changed teams, how players left or they just didn't pan out with one team and they went to the next. And then they became superstars, or they get traded away. Like Noah Syndergaard started with the Blue Jays and then was traded to the Mets. Like, it's just a bunch of crazy trades, a bunch of crazy changes. And if you guys want to test out the roster, obviously I showed you at the beginning of the video, and I hope you did enjoy it. Of course, if you did, hit that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoying the content. And of course, in the comment section, let me know that one player that left your team that you wish you still had today. That's about it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.